So late on Friday night there was a meeting involving Mr Palmer and some of the Greens representatives, and they struck a deal. It was announced quietly on the weekend, but it seems to have escaped most people. What they've announced is that the Greens and Palmer's United Party, the PUP, will do a preference deal both in the Senate and in some lower house seats. And we're not quite sure exactly which seats, but you can rest assured they will include the seat of Fairfax in Queensland, where Clive Palmer is actually running himself. And I would have thought that Mr Palmer has little chance of being elected, but this preference deal with the Greens could help him beat the Liberal National Party candidate who is running.
And what about for the Greens? Would you expect it to have any sort of major impact on their numbers?
Yeah, I think. Well, as I've reported, I think they run the risk of a backlash from their voters, because the Greens, most Green supporters, or the Greens themselves, stand for wanting to get rid of coal mining in particular. I mean, Christine Milne herself has said that she'd like a ban on any new coal mine. Well, last time I looked, Clive Palmer was one of our major mining magnates, and he has interests in coal mining in Australia and with China, which are reaching into the billions of dollars. So it just seems very odd. I think what this is designed to do is to help Sarah Hanson-Young, the South Australian senator, who's up for re-election this time, and she is really struggling to win her seat. Her main competition looks like it will come from Nick Xenophon. Nick Xenophon is the sort of anti-pokies independent senator, and both Labor and Liberal are telling me that Mr Xenophon will not only win a seat himself, but that his running mate is also doing very well and could get across the line at the expense of Sarah Hanson-Young. So you're going to see all these preference deals being done around the place to try and get, you know, minor parties and various others elected to the Senate, to the House of Reps. This looks like it's designed to try and get Hanson-Young across the line.
It is interesting though that it looks like the Greens have been willing to sort of put their philosophical beliefs aside for this one in a week where you've seen the opposition come out very strongly saying that they will put the Greens last, and calling that a philosophical decision, that they, you know, they're happier to have to give the ALP a better shot than the Greens, because, you know, that they think that the Greens are further to the left and they don't agree with their ideals. Yeah,
that's right. Tony Abbott made that very point last week. And that's why this deal between the Greens and Clive Palmer seems so odd. Now, the Greens are defending it, saying that a refugee asylum seeker is a defining issue in this campaign, and they're saying both Tony Abbott and Kevin Rudd have nearly identical policies. They're both extraordinarily conservative, and for that reason we want to do a deal with Clive Palmer, because Mr Palmer at least wants to have onshore processing. So Mr Palmer is saying, let's bring refugees or asylum seekers, I should say, to Australia, and let's process them, and if they're genuine refugees, if they meet the criteria, then they should be given refugee status. So the Greens are saying, we like Clive Palmer's policy on asylum seekers, and for that reason we'll do a preference deal, ignoring the fact that he's supposedly a multi-billion-dollar mining magnate, which of course is anathema to the Greens.
Yes, indeed. Steve Lewis, thank you.
Strange days indeed. Thank you. Green with envy.